Okay, traders, now let me just show you what I'm doing, my routine with the live trade signals and getting these trades on, right? I'm really putting it into overdrive. I've gone through and checked the performance of Primetime Pro and the live signals over the last 3 to 6 months, and it's completely ridiculous, right? And I'm talking about massive returns, but we're not maximizing it. Now it's time to put some trust into the method, and let me just run you through what I'm doing, this week. And like if I include the Kiwi trade that's just been put on, we're well over 20,000 US, right? And nothing is really happening in the market, right? So let me just show you what I'm doing, and then you can apply it to your own trading. You're going to build confidence and trust in Primetime Pro, in the live signals, and then using your expertise as an overlay just to make sure everything fits the picture. All right, let me run you through it. Okay, now historically, we're looking at the charts, right? I've got the majors up here on the hourly time frame. Look at the dollar index, Swissy, yen, dollar CAD, euro, sterling, Aussie, Kiwi. Now, we've got our charts, right? And we're looking for some synergy between the hourly and daily charts. So part of the routine, right, besides drawing trend lines, seeing where the pressure points are, is having a look at, what's going on across the board on the hourly and daily charts. That's the routine. But you know what? This is where the live trade signals came into play. Now, I developed this for two reasons. One, to make it easier for people who are new to trading to understand which different instruments to focus on at different times. And second is to make it easier for myself so I don't have to go and look across the board, right? So looking at all the instruments here, right? You look across all the pairs, all the crosses. We leave so much money on the table because we don't see, the smaller crosses and things moving around. It's almost impossible for one person to keep constantly going through that. You'll get fatigued, let alone go a little bit crazy. So I set up the live trade signals. Now, we are looking at a number of different things. This is the watch list. When they hit this list, it means we've got clear direction, and then we're just waiting for the alert to line up with the forecast, right? And that's it. So you don't have to sort of go through all your charts all day long, right? Just hit refresh, come back to the live trade signals and work out which ones do, right? And as an example, right, dollar yen, it's going down. We've got a sell zone signal on the long-term chart. That means I go to Primetime Pro and I put a order in there to sell, okay, Primetime sell on a long-term daily chart. It's just pretty much as simple as that. And then underneath that, we've got the Kiwi. We've got a bullish signal, okay? It is in the buy zone. So once again, I've got the direction and a ping telling me get long Kiwi using Primetime Pro. And don't forget, you've got three different entry levels: early entry, peak buy or sell, in this situation, peak buy, or prime time buy. I'm usually using prime time buy because it's a more consistent structure. You do leave a little bit of cash on the table, but you know what? By the time the prime time gets triggered, it is really going up or down. So that's where we are. And this is it. Now, all I need to do, right, this is a quick cross check. Now, dollar yen and Kiwi, right? Now, dollar yen is in on the long-term chart, right? That's a long-term trade, right? It's going to take about a week or so for that sell signal to get hit. Where Kiwi, it's a short-term trade. So think of that as a potential intraday or intra-week, right? Maybe a couple of days. What would be the deciding factor there? Well, it's quite simple. We don't forget everything we know. In fact, knowing more about how the market works makes this even easier. Because if we're looking at Kiwi and I'm like, yeah, okay, let's get long, which I am long at the moment. Okay, I got long on the signal. It's about 10 points in the cash. What do I need to know? I need to know if there's anything coming out that could interrupt the general momentum of that trade. So you just check your calendar, right? All I need to do is come back and check out for any Kiwi news. Now, there was Kiwi news out, about 7 hours ago. Trade balance figures, not important, right? Then what else do I know? Is there any US numbers coming out? Because that would impact the Kiwi, and there's no US numbers coming out. In actual fact, the Kiwi does line up with the Aussie. So having a look at the Aussie inflation numbers, if you want to sort of factor that in, may be worth having a look. Now, the numbers came out on the soft side, didn't do anything. The market didn't even react. And that's because that number there, it's like their monthly indicator. It's like a pretend CPI number. So that's where we are. Now, when it comes to the signals, okay, let's come back to that. Do I hold the positions for a long time or not? Right? It's worth coming back and having a check of your charts, right? Check your charts. So if I go to the Kiwi here, right, check out the technical perspective, and I'm like, wow, it's right on this trend line. It tried to break through there sort of, 12, 16 hours ago. It's back here. It hardly backed off. It looks like it's ready to have another crack. Now, it's stalling here momentum, but it's not massively overbought. So I'm happy to stay in the position. And that's all we're sort of looking for. Now, when it comes to actually how long do I hold the position for? This is a really good question, because I would be looking at this position and potentially managing the position on an intraday basis. If it's just normal flow, right? If there's nothing happening in the market, then, we've got in at the optimum time. But once that optimum time runs through, the trade can stall if there's no economic numbers or nothing happening. Now, if there was CPI numbers coming out and we got a buy signal and the numbers were strong, then I am holding that. Even the trade that's on the hourly chart, I am holding that for as long as I can. In fact, I'll let Prime Time Pro take me out. And what that means is it'll keep going up. My trailing stop will keep going up, and the trailing stop will probably be where I exit, unless I see it move, 150 points, 200 points over the course of a week or 2 weeks. And then I come back and go, you know what? This has been a hell of a run. I'm just going to take the cash, right? So the one key factor to work out, there's two components to holding the position. One is, like dollar yen here, it's a long-term signal. That already, I'm thinking minimum week, 2 weeks, right? If it's a short-term signal, so there's the setup where the alert is, then you got the technical levels. Then you can also be looking at if it's even on an hourly chart, a short-term alert, just check if it's a central bank announcement or a CPI number, we are holding the position, right? In this situation, you would only hold it if it was the outcome was with the general direction, right? That could be a change of trend, and there's no need to go and cut the position out. You just hold the position on the hourly charts, all right? So major numbers, central bank, CPI, yep, hold on to it. One thing that I would consider, say I am holding Kiwi and it's got a bullish signal, we're in the buy zone and I've got long, right? Which is sort of exactly what sort of happened here. Okay, we've got triggered at 19 and a half. It's at 26. I think it's been up about 10 or 12 points. It's been up about $1,000. You're like, okay, let that sort of run. What would do it is if I had employment numbers coming out, right? CPI hold, employment numbers, have a double check, because if you are long, it might be worth maybe closing the position out or watch the numbers. And if they do come out a bit weak, we know that can put a bit of pressure in the market. So if it goes against the position, maybe I close it out, especially if I'm only 10 points in the cash, right? So just let me repeat that. So inflation numbers, central banks, hold the position on the hourly charts and just let it run out if the decision or the inflation numbers go with the direction of the forecast, right? If it's against it, just close the position out. You're sort of just leaving cash on the table. And that's pretty much it. So, and let me just come back to the live signals this week, right? At the moment, we've got, looking at the live trade signals on the live trade hub page, we've got an order here to sell dollar yen on the daily chart. That's going to take about a week to trigger, right? But I still want to put it in there because I like the idea of getting short dollar yen. Kiwi, active trades, long. We've got a stop loss of 50 points, take profit 150. When it's 50 points in the cash, the trailing stop will kick in at 75 points. I'm giving these trades loads of room to move, right? And that also means loads of room for you to manage the positions, right? Kiwi is on the hourly charts. Manage the position intraday. If you see it stalling and it's only up 10 points, take the cash, right? This is all about personal preference. If you've been making money, right, you're more inclined to hold the position a little bit longer because you've got room to give it a chance. If you've just been going up and down, and you see $1,000, $2,000 on the table, no harm done. Take the cash. It's only on the hourly charts. You can get back into the trade. And this is exactly what I did this morning. I woke up, we had 5 trades in play: Euro, Aussie, Euro, Kiwi, Sterling, Kiwi, Aussie, Swiss, Kiwi, Swiss, right? I posted yesterday, Euro is outperforming Aussie and Kiwi, right? These updates aren't just for for my benefit. They're for yours as well. Now, if Euro's going up against Aussie and Kiwi, we can be sure as hell so is the Swiss, right? The Swiss is the left arm of the Euro. So these trades were intraday. And you know what? When I opened up the screens this morning and I saw these, they were all maxed out, as in they were all over, like the ones that are buying. Yeah, we got them in at the right level. They were massively overbought when I saw them. So I just took the cash, right? Top up the cash, looks a little bit better. And you know what? Just be aware too, when you are trading, some of these pairs are worth more than others. Swiss points are worth a lot more than Kiwi and Aussie points, right? I got less pip gain here on Aussie Swiss and Kiwi Swiss, but almost doubled the cash, right? So make sure you're aware of that, because if you're actually budgeting, you want to make sure that, you know, it's like trading Euro Sterling compared to Euro. Sterling points are very big, right? So that's where you're going to make some grounds. Now, these are the trades this week, right? Sterling CAD, Lee got a hold of on Monday, and then you had these 5 yesterday. And I thought, you know what, let's just put them on. So the trade performance this week, and this is what I'm talking about, it's quite ridiculous. 19 grand, 326 points. Nothing's actually really happened, right? This is what I'm talking about with Primetime Pro. We are trying to identify all of these trading opportunities, right? So when I'm looking at the market, you can't seriously look across all the Euro pairs, Sterling pairs, Aussie pairs, Kiwi pairs, CAD, Yen, Swiss. You just don't have enough brain capacity or time of day. That's what we're doing with the live trade signals. We're identifying the best ones and then putting them up in front of you so you know which ones to hit. And the best thing is these continually update over the 24 hours. So it's going to roll through. So don't get all bent out of shape and think, okay, I'm in a trade here, I'm just going to hold it forever. Is anything happening on the Kiwi today? Is there any inflation numbers? No. If you look at the Kiwi chart, you know what? It's just trying to push a little bit higher. Okay, it may be stalling. In actual fact, it might even be worth me closing the trade out here, because you know what? I got in at the optimum level. It's now stalled. Maybe that's the case. And I'll check that out after I finish the video. But that's all we're doing, guys. It's a bit of a routine, right? And as I said, I've been doing a shortcut. Instead of checking the charts first, I check the live trade signals. I identify the opportunity, and then I come back and check the chart to try and find an answer why I wouldn't do it. That's what I'm doing. I'm not trying to work out, yeah, this is all great. No, these trades should go on. You're looking for a big reason not to put them on, right? And I saw that trend line resistance in Kiwi just above the chart, and I thought, this is telling me to get long, right? And whether it's a 10-point trade or a 50-point trade, had that resistance trend line not been there, right, it might have gone up another 30 or 40 points. The fact that it is, this is where you can use your knowledge of the markets and go, yeah, you know what? I don't know about this. Is it going up or going down? You know, I might just take the cash, or you come over and use your knowledge of the markets and think, well, what's happening in the market? Okay, the equities, pretty neutral. We do have a risk on day, right? Sterling, Aussie, Kiwi up, but look how far they've gone. Kiwi is actually the biggest earner, 19 pips. Funnily enough, it's quite weird. So with nothing going on, no news coming out, maybe it just flows, and that could lead to me taking the cash. So use your knowledge of the markets, use the live trade signals, and let's see how it goes, right? To start with, to build trust, either use a demo account or use a very small trade size and get the trades in play. You won't know until you use it how valuable it is. All right, guys, check it out. Like, I'm pretty pumped. I'm putting these things on across the board. Now, it's not everyone. I will come through and I do analyze them, right? Aussie Kiwi, just as an example before I finish, bearish, right? And I'm like, I got a sell zone signal here. And I was like, wow, I better check that out. Aussie Kiwi, it's the Widowmaker, right? It's always been my nemesis. So looking at Aussie Kiwi, and I was like, wow, check out the price action of this sucker. It's like in a 40, 50, 60 point range over the course of, the last couple of weeks. I mean, you're dancing around in here. There's cash there, and I thought, you know what? I thought against it. But it didn't actually quite get to that overbought situation anyway. So, but you know what? It would have been 20 points in the cash because I looked at it at the time and it was almost there. But you know what? I've used human instinct, which is probably in this situation not going to be beneficial over time, to say, yep, Aussie Kiwi, I'm not really in it because you can see it's just hugging that bull bear pivot line. So I didn't do the Aussie Kiwi, but I did set up the Kiwi against the dollar and dollar yen. And then having a look through the other trades from the previous day, you can see you don't need a lot of action here to get things moving. If Euro's going up against the Aussie, it's going up against the Kiwi. Same with Aussie Swiss and Kiwi Swiss. And these were nice, easy trades to sort of put on, especially when there's no mad numbers coming out, right? So check your positions, check the live trade signals, give us feedback. I'm telling you, there's cash in these things. And the best thing is you don't even have to think about it. If you've got a kid that's about 10 or 12, get them into this. Just tell them to check the live trade signals each day, show them how to put the orders on, and the kid will be up 100K and paying for the family's annual holidays before you know it. All right, guys, get into the live trade signals. Good luck and happy trading.